Hey, what's up guys? This is Nova and welcome to my latest playthrough. From the streets of London to the slums of Liverpool, these places have one thing in common, and that is not that because they're British, it's because they have knives. Lots and lots of knives there. Now, what do I consider a knife? I consider anything that has the word knife in it, and anything that is basically a throwing knife, such as the magic dagger and the frost daggerfish. Those are all knives, by the way, and both of those are okay and will not be removed from the list of knives. And in honor of starting a new playthrough, a knife-based playthrough, I shall name my world appropriately. Yes, London it is. Now let's begin. The moment I spawned into the world, I began doing what I usually do at the start of my playthrough, which is to cut down some trees. While cutting down these trees, I stopped, realizing that I had forgotten something. And that was that I did not have access to throwing knives yet, which means I could basically not kill anything by myself, so I had to rely on my NPCs to kill some slimes. I then made my way out into the world in order to search for some throwing knives, so I can begin killing some stuff. On my way around the place, I found a life crystal in the underground, but unfortunately no knives. I then returned back to the surface and built a couple of houses, a couple of shacks, you can say. Then I started making my way underground again, this time to mine for some ore and maybe find some throwing knives in a couple of chests, hopefully, because they do spawn in gold chests, by the way. I then died a couple of times, then got another life crystal, and then some more ore, and then another life crystals, and then I somehow managed to find some throwing knives, about 50 of them to be accurate. But unfortunately, since it was only 50 throwing knives I found, they quickly ran out, very unsurprisingly, so I quickly went over to the underground desert to mine a bit of fossils, because for those who don't know, you can extract these fossils to get a couple of fossil pieces or chunks, which you can use to then craft a set of new throwing knives called the bow knives. I got enough fossils, then extracted it, and then crafted the bow knives. I then also made the fossil armor along with the knives. I then went over to the underground crimson biome because I got this biome again. Don't worry, I'll change the next playthrough to another biome. I also made a super long minecart track, again because of how effective it is against bosses. I then waited until night fell and summoned in the Eye of Cthulhu as usual. I then quickly spanked the eye into the next dimension, because the eye is kind of the easiest boss in the entire game. I then went over to the Crimson and spawned in the Brain of Cthulhu. Unfortunately for me, this did not go over so smoothly well as the eye fight did, because for some reason the brain is a pain in the buttocks to fight. After fighting the brain, I went over to the jungle biome and then searched about the place until I finally found a beehive, which was what I was looking for. I then broke into said beehive and broke the bee larva, which then spawned in the queen bee. I then milked the honey out of the bee, drying her out, which was a very weird phrase that I wrote for some reason. I don't know why I did that, but ignore it. I then stumbled my way drunkenly over to the dungeon and spawned in the Skeletron, who got how do I say this, boned as usual. While it was still nighttime, I tried to also summon in the king slime, which quickly got wasted. I then mined my way down to hell in order to snag myself a hell forge. I then went back to base and got Drip the elf out with the best drip you have ever seen, the frost boots. I then went back to the underground tundra and started fishing for some frost daggerfish. And I then went over to the dungeon and killed a bunch of skeletons in order to get some bones, which I then used to craft the necro armor. Okay, so now that I am all prepped up, I went all the way down to hell again and started my way towards the extreme end so that I could spawn in the wall of flesh, while hoping that I did not encounter any demons that would clap my cheeks, that would clap me so that I can survive. I then spawned in the wall of flesh and then began the fight. I used up all my frost dagger fish against it, almost all of it, because it was a quite easy fight unironically, due to being able to hit multiple segments of the boss with the frost dagger fish. So now on to hard mode. The moment I got into hard mode, I made an altar exterminator and then broke every single altar, crimson altar in my entire world, which then spawned in a bunch of wraiths, which I quickly disposed of, and then mined a bunch of palladium ore. And because they look so very orange, they look like orange candy to me, I then used said orange candy to make an orange candy armor set. I then summoned in the goblin army because, for those who don't really know a thing or two, it drops a very special throwing knife called the shadow knife. This knife is dropped by the goblin warlock, who herself is a hard mode exclusive enemy. She is also a mini boss who is quite an annoying enemy to fight. So I have to find a way to kill her properly due to my lack of damage. I only have the bone knives from old. The first one that spawned in, which I killed and got the shadow flame hex doll, which is not a knife, so I have to kill more probably. So I killed another one. This one dropped the shadow flame bow this time, and then killed another one that dropped the doll again. I was getting really annoyed due to how long it takes to kill them, so I decided to kill one last one, which thankfully dropped the knife. So yes, now I can finally cosplay the average person from London. I then mined some raspberry flavored candy, one called orichalcum, which is also known colloquially as orichalcum. Let us say that is the real name. I then used said ore to craft an armor set. I then waited until nighttime and then summoned the twins, who I then promptly took out to the back of an alley and gave it 48 stabs. When it turned into daytime, I summoned in the Queen Slime, who was next on my shank list. So I shanked her, even though I don't really know how shanking a ball of slime is possible. It just is, trust me. I then bounced my knife all over the destroyer's face and destroyed the destroyer. I was then primed to fight Skeleton Prime, who could not handle my strangely sturdy knife against its metal carapace. I then went back to base and made the hallowed armor. I then rode the jungle express over to the jungle. I went on the ground and found a Plantera Bob rather quickly, so I knew that it was appropriate to make a jungle arena next to it. After making said arena, I broke the plant bulb apart and summoned the world's angriest plant. It then plucked all of her petals away, and which made her very mad. But then she also shriveled up. I then visited the jungle temple the right way this time, and then ransacked the temple and collected all the lizard power cells. I then got to the main chamber and summoned in the stone giant called the Golem, who I then promptly cracked like an egg. I also crafted a fire gauntlet accessory, and I then went to the dungeon and grinded for two accessories called the Master Belt and the Tabby, which I then combined into the Master Ninja gear. I then took my minecart express over to the ocean and summoned Duke Fishron. As usual, the Fishron fight was very close. I hate it very much, I generally do. After killing the Duke, I started a fight against the Empress of Light. The fight was extremely slow and painful. This is probably due to my lack of proper damage with my Shadow Knife, a very early hard mode weapon. I expect this to carry me all the way to Moon Lord, so let's see how this goes. After killing the Empress, I decided to kill the lunatic cultist. So I summoned them and started to notice that my damage was very bad, as I had. Because of this, I am very skeptical if I could potentially kill the Moon Lord before the Moon Lord kills me, due to my worsening damage. So anyway, I killed the lunatic cultist and then waited for the pillars. Now I'm going to do what I usually do and skip the pillar fight because it's kind of uninteresting and it almost took me like 2 hours to complete. Now that it is Moon Lord time, I hope that this goes well. While fighting the Moon Lord, I began to notice that I was doing barely enough damage to overpower the Moonlord's healing, because I initially thought that this was hopefully going to be at least a 5-minute fight, but it turned from 5 minutes fight to a 25 minutes fight, or more like a 28 minutes fight, which was quite a long fight. This was the longest I've ever fought Moonlord for 28 minutes. So I had to kind of compress it over to about a couple of seconds. Honestly, it's going to be a lot, but I could show you the entire fight if you want to see it. The other positive thing with this is that at least I did not die, because if I died like around the halfway mark, that was like about 15 minutes gone down the drain, and I would have been very, very pissed. Now that this fight is over, at least I have completed my entire goal to use knives only through the entire playthrough. Hey, hello. Welcome to the end of the video, and wait, don't go yet. I still have something to say before you go. I just wanted to say that this video took me a while, because, not because it was very difficult to do, but because I was just lazy, just very, very lazy, very, very lazy. And because the video was supposed to be released last week, so yeah, sorry, by the way. And because the video was supposed to be released last week, hopefully starts like working on a new project like next week. So I am very sorry. Anyway, I think that I am going to do a modded run next week, and because of that, I might kind of like, because I'm starting to run out of vanilla Terraria ideas. Just like using like one weapon for the entire playthrough, which is kind of like my ideas at this point that is like at least somewhat unique from other people's ideas. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Anyway, I think that I'm going to do a modded playthrough, as I said, and this mod is a mod that pretty much everyone has covered, so you probably can guess what mod it is. And I'll be deliberately avoiding this mod for a reason, and that is because everyone has done a playthrough on it. So I'm kind of trying to think of what exactly can I do with this mod that will be unique in comparison to everyone else. So moving forward, I have probably going to like think over this for a while. It's probably going to take me like at least a month to finish the entire video, so I might release a vanilla modded playthrough video like in between those, in between the video, that video and the next video. So my next video might not be a modded one, it might just be a vanilla one, and the next video after that will probably be modded. Yeah, so I'm sorry for confusing anyone. So just wanted to let you guys know. But anyways, thanks for watching my video. At least thank you for at least coming and stopping by to this length of the video, and I am not clicking off immediately as soon as it's ended. And yeah, make sure to like, subscribe and comment, because it boosts me up in the algorithm and more people can see the video. I usually keep it at the end so I can not pressure too many people to do it, but maybe I should move it over to the end, but kind of a bit meh about that. But thanks for watching, and see you next time. Take care and bye.